I think for the most part with small business and even MSPs, very little legal liabilities at the moment because it's not stated in things like the Privacy Act, and maybe some of those reforms coming down the track will change that a little bit. So obviously the big objection that MSPs get when talking to clients around cybersecurity is, do I really need to do it? Am I big enough an organization that I need to worry about this type of stuff? So the stats out there suggest, yes, you are. If we look at the ASD's or the ACSC's threat report, annual threat report, SMBs are close to 50% of reported threats each year, and that's been fairly consistent over the years. With the lack of mandating, I've seen insurance be kind of the driver, cybersecurity insurance in particular, be the driver in terms of trying to set a standard through them doing audits and things like that now. Have you seen, Jason, insurance companies adopting the CSCAU standards or the guidelines as part of their insurance policy approaches?
Cyber insurance is a really interesting one. There's a lot of things that need to be improved on that side with cyber insurance. It shouldn't be and really isn't any different to home insurance, right? You should really be getting and using something like this, Elliot, as you sort of touched on, as a basis. And if we do regular check-ins, then we make sure we're okay. If I'm renewing my home and contents insurance every year, if I've changed things to my house, I've added security cameras, deadlocks to doors, things that actually can make my house more secure, I should be able to feed that back to my insurer and they're going to give me a discount or a premium, right? Because I'm actually got alarms. I've got more security from what I had last year. I should get a discount. I haven't seen that reflected through, but it's very difficult with a cyber attack, right? Like your house, if I left my doors wide open with all that stuff and didn't have my alarm switched on, all that sort of stuff, and got robbed, that's my fault. So the insurer's not going to cover me. Similarly, in the situation, if I said to an insurer, I have all these checks and controls and balances in place, but don't have them switch on. And I like what Adam said before, the box ticking exercise. We don't want that. You want to make sure that if you're saying you're doing something, that you're actually doing it, right? If you're doing regular updates, if you're having these things in place, that it's actually occurring, right? Because most times when you see a cyber attack happen, something's not gone right. And 8 times out of 10, it's usually that the person hasn't got a control switched on, hasn't done an update. There's usually some reason that someone's gone in there, right? The insurer part, this is the awareness piece. We really got to get it out there. We've got to get more awareness about it. It's great that Adam's using it, but we want more Adams. We want everyone basically using this. This should be the cornerstone. And this template and this framework should be used in other countries as well. We should be leading the way in some ways in Australia with these sorts of things and making things easier. My whole thing with anything I've done in business is how do I make it better or easier or more approachable? And cybersecurity is one of the toughest nuts I've had to crack, but it's something that I think we collectively can actually do. And that will make the insurance process and everything else a lot easier if we all have a real understanding of what it actually means, what's the outcome of what we're doing. And it's to make people safer. And I think you need to put it in layperson's terms. You need to be able to explain it technically to a technical person, but you also need to give it the layperson's layover as well. So and that's why I sort of talk slip, slop, slap, or, using other examples in other industries. Your house and your contents and insurance should be that reference point then for cybersecurity, and sort of carry over. We need to give people, it's just like you do this in this part of your life, cybersecurity fits here. It almost is like an insurance policy. So I think it's the change of language and how we direct it to business to give them where it's important and where it sits. And so it's not an impost on their business. It's actually a security or an insurance policy against something bad happening to them or their clients.
Yeah, I think that's one of the challenges that MSPs have is a lot of them come from the IT world, from a technical background, and they struggle breaking it down into sort of simple terms and speak the language that's appropriate to the audience you're trying to deliver that to, which is one of the things that we try to educate here at Pax8 as well, particularly through the Academy team, in learning how to sort of talk risk to those particular people. And I love that you use the house analogy because I use that all the time. I think, that is something that anyone, or almost anyone, can sort of relate to. So whoever it is, whether you're speaking to the board, the business owner, the technical controller as part of that, we need to make sure that we're refining our language to those particular audiences.